and he supposedly worked with a partner. I can't remember his name. And in the 2000s, around 2000, whenever the Bitcoin white paper was published, it was Satoshi Nakamoto communicating on these platforms and forums on Reddit and these other blockchain, platforms. And fucking Craig Wright, like he doesn't say he is the owner of Bitcoin, but he does talk as if he created it. And it's such a unique situation because the wallet that money is in, like the couple thousand Bitcoin that was minted when it first dropped, hasn't been touched. Like no money has been moved out of it. And so I think it's a little bit of a distraction, but I think he has a couple other wallets. Why wouldn't you? And he minted on those as well. And I think what people think he might have, I think he has at least double, triple. Because
think about it. He also, while he set this up, think about it. You know how we just talked about setting up a node on Gala?
Right.
You think the developers of Gala don't every single one of them own like 15 nodes?
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? This mining rig here that's using like that industrial sized mining rig that you sent me on the Wall Street Journal clip, the video that might be unmasked, this one.
Yeah.
Bro, you think he doesn't have mining rigs set up too? Whoever Nakamoto is, give me a break.
Yeah.
It's his fucking network. Of course he's supporting it and eating from it.
Exactly. But what doesn't make sense to me is like, if they don't have proof, but in the article that I sent to you, they said that they had proof to prove that he was the creator of it, and proof that he then owes his partner's family 100 million or some shit, or half. They were trying to say he owes them half. So 64 billion, he would have to pay out, 30 of that billion. But he supposedly, the case went in his favor. So if the case went in his favor, then they can't prove.
They have to pay 100 mil.
Yeah, they said that the article said that they gave them 100 mil, and I was like, okay, well, why they give him 100 mil if he is, and that's what's confusing to me, man. I don't get it.
Wait, 32 bill, and they settled for 100 mil.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care about how many extra numbers there are. Just do it like this. You went from 64 to 0.1.
Exactly.
No thanks. No thanks. Doesn't matter what the phenomena is after billion, million, trillion. Like, just break it down to that. 64 to 0.1. That's like the same metric. Who would take 0.1? Or 32 to 0.1? Like,
yeah. I mean, 100 million, that's nice too, but he got 60 B's somewhere untouched on some other shit. Like,
bro, we were watching the Hidden Secrets of Money last night, and we got through episode 4, and it explains the exact way that currency is created, the way that currency is created, and how majority, almost like 70% of our currency, is created through the central banks loaning out from the reserve, right? And if it's a high reserve rate, if it's $10, if it's 10% reserve rate, if it's at 10% reserve rate, that means that if you put $100 into the bank, they can lend me 90 of those dollars and hold 10 of yours, and then put bank slip IOUs in the account for the currency that was there before. Give me those $90 in circulation. Right now, currently, there's $190 in circulation from only 100 printed dollars.
Right, exactly.
And what he proves in this math moving forward, Mike Maloney, shows that on $100 printed, $1,000 is in circulation.
That's leverage. Yeah, that's like margin trading in Forex and brokerage accounts, Fidelity, Charles Schwab and stuff.
And the concept of the debt ceiling back and forth, the way that currency is created, if the first ever dollar, $1 was created as a lend, which it was created as a lend. So here I create $1 and lend you. What you say is I'll pay you $2 back.
Right.
in order to pay me those $2 back, I need to create you another dollar. So now you have to pay me $4 back for the $2 that I lent you. This cycle goes on and on and on. This is the debt. This is the actual currency.
Right. Well said.
How does that work?
Yeah.
It doesn't. Eventually, it inevitably will crash down when the debt reaches such a max. And what's happening right now, again, is gold is taking account for all the fake currency in circulation. And if you look at the charts from 1913, when the Federal Reserve was started, and then moving forward when FDR took us off the silver standard, and then when Nixon took us off the gold standard in August 15th in 1971, and you look at the gold charts from 71 to 80, gold reaccounted for all of the money in all the currency in circulation, because gold is money. Gold is money, the papers is currency. So gold took account for it, and it also took account for all of the credit card debt, all of the outstanding debt that Americans have created on the currency. Gold rose above that price, and we could have been on a gold standard again. We could have been. Mass inflation. And we debased the currency. By debasement of the currency, you increase. And when you debase the currency, all of the goods, like a sponge, soak up that debasement, so the price goes up. That's what's happening right now, mass inflation. They call it QE, quantified easement. QE1, QE2, QE3, and then they called it stimulus. And it's hyperinflation, and it's history repeating itself again and again and again monetarily. And when it crashes down like this, you and I right now, we're leveraging ourselves on the proper side of the world's largest wealth transfer in history.
In history, yeah, shit is crazy, bro. Because you can see now, one cryptocurrency, like even Litecoin's market cap, could basically swallow the United States debt, make it disappear a little bit.
Yeah, and Ethereum is now number 15 in liquidity, passing JP Morgan, who's number 16, the largest central bank.
Yep, exactly.
And it's very likely that JP Morgan and 2 or 3 other central banks are the actual shareholders and the owners of the Federal Reserve Bank. It's very likely. It's hard to prove who is the actual owner, the shareholder of the Federal Reserve, but it's likely a central bank. So it's funny because the central bank owns the Federal Reserve Bank that creates the IOU notes from an X account. The Federal Reserve writes checks to the federal government from an account that has X. So they just create a check and then they give it to the government.
Yeah, man. Well, it is a bank, right? Bank of England. Like we're still owned by the British, man. Believe it or not.
Wild.
The Federal Reserve even says that it is a foreign entity. And so, yeah, man, you're right. It is a foreign entity doing business as a corporation nonprofit, and that's how they're able to pay no taxes and stuff like that. The same game applies.
I gotta send you actually just episode 4 with that chart, because the way that Mike Maloney does the imagery, it's so beautiful because it's 7 steps of how they fraudulently from day one create the currency and then have us work for the currency to pay off the tax and the debt on the currency that will no matter what we do, it doesn't matter what we do, period. It can never, ever be paid off. The way that what I just said, 2 and 4, no matter how hard we work, you can never pay off this debt with this currency. You can't, it doesn't work.
Unless you have a deflationary component inside of the currency, like some of these coins do. You can burn the coin.
Which is something completely different, which is why some of these coins are not currency. Some of these coins are money.
Right. Yeah. And technology, they have greater applications than just money.
And also, I see some of these really big silver and gold guys, like Mike Maloney, he's interviewing the one guy, and he was speaking at this anarchy event for cryptocurrency in Mexico. And there's like some younger crypto guys that are only crypto, right? And he's laughing, and the guy's laughing. He's like, it's funny to me when I see these guys crypto only and no silver. when the silver is in the network for them to have digital communication. Silver is in their phone to have cryptocurrency. Silver is in their computer to have a cryptocurrency, and they don't support the precious metal of silver. And he was like, it's interesting to me.
I like that.
Basically, he's like, I'm the big boss, but
yeah, exactly.
I hear you, kid.
He's like, yeah, I see what y'all saying, but you still gotta respect the silver, man. Precious metal. Man.
Gold and silver. Gold is going to do what it always does, and it's going to take an account for all of the printed currency that the Federal Reserve mass printed these past few years. It just does. History repeats itself every time, and it's going to do it again. It's just a matter of when.
What's so funny, and I don't know if you've ever checked out the Coinbase Satoshi Nakamoto article. Well, going back to that briefly, on Coinbase, I believe I read that they quoted federal, like Congress and the federal government, of if anyone, like eGold back in I can't remember when that was, the eGold project. I don't know if you ever heard of that. This was the idea before blockchain was published and Bitcoin was published. So you'd actually really like this. I'd probably say take a time out of your day, maybe like this evening, to just check it out. But the owners of this who created it were about to face federal charges because the federal government basically claims that any person, one person or faction who basically creates a competing currency with the United States dollar will face federal charges. When I read that,
check out new tab real quick. Do this Liberty Dollar. Actually, no, do Liberty Dollar, and it's called PenFed or something. Liberty Dollar. I think it's PenFed or something. Norfed, that's what it's called. Norfed. Not PenFed, Norfed. Norfed dollar. Yeah, you'll see it come up, I think.
Oh shit.
What are they? Go to Wikipedia if you see one right there. Liberty Dollar private currency right there. The next one. Keep this shit. This one originally was called Liberty Dollar. It was this organization that
currency was issued in minted metal rounds, gold, silver certificates.
I have one in my car right now, a Liberty Dollar from 2006. And if you scroll back out and scroll down, it's Von Nothuis. His name is look right here. Bernard von Nothuis, the founder of the Cannabis Spiritual Center in Malibu and the co-founder of the Royal Hawaiian Mint Company. He's a savage, bro. Savage.
Oh shit.
Because he was like, yo, the Federal Reserve it's a fucking hoax. It's a joke. It's a fucked up fraudulent corporation. And I'm going to show the people the truth. And then he started making dollars, and then they shut him down, stole all of like a few hundred tons of silver.
No way.
Because he started printing currency that was actually backed with silver. So he would hand out a receipt for currency, a Norfed dollar. And if you scroll down, Norfed means, look, this is incredible. Right there. It means right here, National Organization for the Repeal of the Federal Reserve and the Internal Revenue Code, Norfed.
For the repeal, for the healing.
Yeah, exactly. He's not even just saying like, can't X them, like, let's talk about it.
Wow. This is the organization asserted right here.
Yeah, that the Federal Reserve was unconstitutional and harmful.
Ooh.
The company engaged in a series of legal battles, both defending their exchange service and challenging exclusivity assertions made by the U.S. Mint. Because the U.S. Mint's savage. They just said no, and nobody else can do this but us. We make money for you sheep. And Bernard was like, nah, bro, I don't know. A number of alternative currencies.
Yeah, I was just reading that.
I saw it say Bitcoin. It popped out to me.
That's interesting. But it says there were other currencies. Yeah, Phoenix dollars.
What you just said, I think digital gold currency, isn't that kind of like the project you just talked about?
Yep, eGold.
Yo, so there's a chance that Bitcoin might be tied in with some Gov players or something. I don't know.
Well, it's funny that you say that because one of the videos that I had watched one of the vids that I watched said that there was a tweet from Craig Wright that it was a pro se project, meaning a prosecuted project, meaning that he was in trouble and he had to pay his debt to the state by producing a project. And there was a tweet that, you know, he created this project for the state, being some kind of cryptography based like system, platform, blockchain. And that came out like a year or two before Bitcoin came out. But who knows, man? I don't know. A lot of this shit is up in the air, but this shit is super interesting, man. I'm really
you get a kick out of this NorFed stuff. The NorFed dollar, like the federal government response, bro. Look, so originally the federal government and the Mint, they remained skeptical, but they said like in the beginning, they said they were not in violation. And even the Liberty Dollar promoter, spokeswoman for the U.S. Treasury Department of Bureau of Engraving and Printing, previously said American Liberty currency is legitimate. Dickens was quoted having said, "There's nothing illegal about this. After the Treasury Department's legal team reviewed the currency, as long as it does not say legal tender, there's nothing wrong with it." But then they savagely shut them down, bro.
That's crazy, bro.
See, Bernard von Nothaus versus the U.S. Mint.
Yeah.
That's beast, actually. Imagine seeing your name there. Like, yeah, I went right up against the U.S. Mint and I represented me.
Wow.
Former Attorney General of the United States, right? Director of the Mint.
Wow. The FBI, Secret Service raided them.
Oh, check that out. It might tell you right there how many tons of silver they stole.
Oh, 2 tons.
Oh, Ron Paul dollar, see?
Wow.
That's what he's printing because Senator Ron Paul knows what's good.
Wow.
He actually knows what's good with currency, like currency history and the 7 stages of empire, and knows that we're in the 6th stage. We're about to be at the 7th stage, the collapse.
Wow, this is crazy. Bro.
Did you know that there's one application, I forget the name of it right now, and it's for the global wiring systems for anybody to wire funds. And when Iran in the early 2000s started to not use US dollar and sell oil in euro, not use the US petrodollar, they got shut off from wiring money. Their country got shut off that server completely. They couldn't wire money in or out because they weren't using the US dollar.
Wow.
He said,
how the fuck do you shut a system like that down? Like
for a whole country.
Yeah, right.
When we look, I've been watching Mike Maloney and global trade more because I when I heard you talk about Escobar and wanted to increase political function with our life, I needed to understand global trade a whole lot more. So I'm looking at it from a different macro lens now. And
yes.
I'm seeing a lot of European countries doing direct trade, holding each other's currency, not holding the US dollar at all, excluding the US dollar. That was the whole Brixton, like Britain Bank and the Brixton Accord or whatever. Everyone was like all politically inflamed about, but they didn't even know what was going on with global trade. Question for you, and I want to hear your answer. Bree and I were talking about this. If and when in our lifetime the US dollar does collapse and we're no longer having all the other fiat currencies attached to the US dollar, what will the cryptocurrencies be pegged to for value?
Well, the first thing is human energy and interaction, which has always been
the value of the currency.
The value of the currency. Yeah. But then I think, you know, there are other, being that cryptocurrencies are just digital, excuse me, I don't want to limit them. They're not just anything, but if some cryptocurrencies do have treasuries backed by silver and precious metals Some I think will be created to be backed by land and conservation, which will be similar to kind of like carbon capital coin and stuff like that. Like we could create our own coin backed by real land that we own or control rather, and have a liquidity pool for that. You know what I mean? Take out basically there are NFTs that you can borrow against as equity now. So like people, I talked to you about the HELOC loan in the beginning.
Yeah, on
You
the
could
home.
take, on the home, you could take out, you're going to be able to take out, and you can today, basically a line of credit or a loan as with your NFT being a collateral. And so I think it will be based off, it'll be similar to what you were saying about the debt ratio being 1 to 2 to the US fiat currency. But I think eventually not only human energy and interaction, right? Like I think that's what Rasun meant when he was talking about selling your data in the metaverse. Like, you know how basically we have to forcibly watch advertisements and stuff like that all the time until we pay to bypass them on YouTube and things like that. Like people pay for time. Companies are paying for people's time and attention and energy. And that's what it's always been about. But I think secondly, because there's so many currencies being produced, some are backed by silver, some have treasuries backing NFTs as collateral. Then there are, like I said, going to be currencies that are backed by land and real estate and stuff like that. So I think we're going to see a diverse range.
Fundrise, that company Fundrise, that app does a great job with partial ownership on investment property for big development, for physical development. I think soon that they'll have a coin attached with theirs, like in some way.
Exactly. Like it's pretty crazy. I think Nexo is coming out with more NFT collateralized loans and stuff like that for.
Did you know that there's some places in Africa that it's illegal? You'll go to prison if you try to transact with the US dollar.
Oh shit, no way.
Yeah, savage. They finally just said, no, fuck you, Fauci, fuck you, the rest of them. Like, it's illegal. It's actually a law.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Back to the US dollar because it's fraudulent. The IRS and the Federal Reserve has arrested you, sheep hooked, but not them anymore. They already gave them too much, bro.
Yo, yeah. I mean, that's crazy. They've been stealing their natural resources for fucking centuries now. Yeah, for a millennia. Yeah, exactly.
It's terrible, but
that's pretty cool though. Where at in Africa is that taking place?
I don't know. Mike Maloney quoted it. So
that's pretty fucking crazy though, man. Oh shit, hold on 1 second. I gotta get my charger.
I thought you guys were together.
Zimbabwe targets Forex dealers. Can I use US dollars? And
hey, yo, what happened?
Zimbabwe banned foreign currencies.
Zimbabwe, that was like the last fucking country that went hyperinflation.
Yeah, right? That's what I'm reading right now too.
How they gonna ban the very thing that's gonna
the thing that it's pegged to?
Yeah.
All these foreign nations are a little wild, bro.
Crazy, man.
All right, so that was fun.